What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. Tonight we're gonna rip a Best Ball Mania draft. Like we kind of talked about in the YouTube, or sorry, in the Twitter post there. We'll rip a Best Ball Mania, like it said on the thumbnail, obviously as well. But we're gonna chat about a couple potential game-winning, league-winning, $2 million winning type if they hit running backs that you can get in the 18th round. So I've made it no secret my kind of strategy is going to be and has been, and it's going to be like hero RB, 2 running backs through 10 rounds, that sort of a situation. Pretty opposite from where I saw value last year. I was drafting a lot of Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. I thought there was a lot of value early in drafts to take running back and catch up at wide receiver later in the draft where I thought there was some value there. This year, I don't see any value particularly at wide receiver. There's a few guys that I don't mind, but for the most part, and I don't want to be 30, 40% all of those last round wide receiver guys. So I'm not going to go there. Realistically, it's 0 hero RB, that sort of thing, anchor RB, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm drafting running backs late because I just think there's a ton of options. So there's a few reasons behind it as well, which we'll get into. But let's just jump right in and dive into who these 3 running backs are, in my opinion, that I think have league winning potential and the reasons why the kind of takes behind it. So Stephen Hines, good day. Welcome. Week's going well. Yeah, appreciate it. My voice is starting to come back. The allergies are kicking in as well, but voice is starting to come back. Arizona Mountain Man, appreciate you coming in. GM. Let's pop over. We got Das Bruce Crew just popped in. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in here. Hartman, there we go. Another one just popping in. Appreciate you coming in, Hartman. So let's get into this. Let's talk about it. Who are the 3 that I think, and I'm just under 20% on one of these guys. One, I'm 40% plus right now. And the second, I am in the 20s. So I will be 20% all of these running backs for sure, unless something changes between now and OTAs. OTAs are mandatory minicamp is just around the corner. In about 20 days, in about 3 weeks, everybody for the most part will be in mandatory minicamp, which is where we need to definitely start paying attention. Again, I said it before, rookie minicamps, OTAs, stuff to pay attention to, but it's not the be all end all. Mandatory minicamp, that's when things are really going to matter. We're really going to have to pay attention to who's lining up where, who's getting what kind of reps, that kind of situation, who's running with the first team, second team, third team, blah, blah, blah. All that kind of stuff is what we really want to pay attention to in about 3 weeks when mandatory minicamp is going on. But these are the 3 guys that I see value in. And I guess if you can see my exposures, you kind of know who they already are. First one is Woody Marks for the Houston Texans. So I'm at 19.6% right now. Why do I think Woody Marks could be a league winner? Couple reasons. So looking at the depth chart here, this is ourlads.com. We'll pop open the Houston Texans. Obviously, Joe Mixon right now, who, if in case you haven't heard, he's currently in a walking boot as we sit in June 2nd. Not a ridiculously huge concern. It is a little concerning considering the end of the season was months and months ago. So did he have surgery? We don't know. He's not all the way back. Blah, blah. But it's kind of interesting that he's sitting there in a walking boot already June 2nd. It's kind of strange, a little concerning. Bigger concern with Joe Mixon for me, it's always been, as a Bengals fan, watching him play, biggest concern, first and foremost, the dude is not efficient. He is just not very good. You take away all of the volume, and he is really, really basic. So, I mean, he's been getting the volume. So there's that, if you can bank on that volume, which right now you kind of can. But behind Joe Mixon, again, he'll be 29 years old this year. He's had, oh man, I forgot to write it down, but he has had, I think, let's just pop it up and take a look together while we're doing it. Well over 1,000, 1,800 carries and 300 catches. So 2,100 touches in his career. That's obviously a massive concern for me. Massive concern for me. I don't know where you guys stand on that, but once you, especially with what he did in college, what he did in high school, all the pounding that he's taken throughout his entire career, 2,100 touches in the NFL. He has never been efficient. He's a career 4.1 rusher. Like, I don't know if people know that. Like, he's not very good. You take away his volume, and he's just not good, and he's just not efficient. And yes, I am completely fading Joe Mixon. I have 0% right now. And I doubt that changes. I will take him if he falls. I will draft him if he falls. But if he doesn't, then I won't. I am going to be completely out on him at cost. I don't see any value in Joe Mixon where his ADP is at personally. He's only played the entire season 3 times in his 8-year career. So massive concern. Age is a huge red flag. The amount of carries and touches that he's gotten in his career is a huge red flag for me as well. He's never been efficient. Just huge amounts of concerns for me. So there you go. But beyond that, this isn't about Joe Mixon. This is about Woody Marks. So looking at what the let's look at what Woody Marks did in his career. So we'll pop that open. Let's zoom in so we can see it a little bit better. Mississippi State, obviously he wasn't doing everything there, was a bit of a part-time role for the most part as far as his carries are concerned. Didn't get kind of full-time work until USC, and he really took off there. But regardless, look at these receiving totals: 60 catches, 83 catches as a running back, 48 catches, 23 catches in kind of a down year. And then he bounces back to USC with another 47 catches. So clearly that's a big part of his game. Right? 261 catches in his college career. That's what I'm after. That's what I want. I think everything that Dare Ogunbowale got last year goes to Woody Marks. If there's an injury to Joe Mixon, do I think Woody Marks takes over as a bell cow? No, I do not. I think Dameon Pierce shows up quite frequently in this offense, but he's not a pass catcher. He's a very good pass blocker though. So he will be in on a fair amount of third downs. But if we're looking at a receiving option out of the backfield, I think that's what they would want to do. In my head, the drafting of Woody Marks says they want to give less touches to Joe Mixon. Didn't say carries there, less touches. So anytime it's a third and long, it's a passing situation, clear passing situation. Let's get Woody Marks in there who can do a lot of different things as a receiver out of the backfield. And then if there is an injury to Joe Mixon, which I think is most certainly on the table, then he's definitely going to get more carries as well, but he would be splitting with Dameon Pierce. The point is he's a 18th round pick. Now we're down to 18 rounds. He's an 18th round pick that could have league winning upside. Obviously things have to go a certain way, but there is a huge difference unless an injury, but it's not that out of the question. It's not that insane. Like Woody Marks to me would be a poor man's Rachaad White as we sit right now. But if there's an injury to Joe Mixon, then obviously he gets a nice boost, especially if you're pairing him with CJ Stroud and that Chargers game week 17. So that's number one. That's my pitch. That's why I'm drafting Woody Marks at a pretty high clip. Like I said, 20%. We'll see where it gets in mandatory minicamp. If something changes, something changes. If it's all things remain the same as we head into training camp, then I'm still going to be there with Woody Marks. So yes, I am fading Joe Mixon as we sit right now. Putt Daddy, how are you, man? Good to see you. I was fading him until he fell into the 50s. Fair enough. Let's see where I have him ranked. It won't tell me. It doesn't tell you where, like, his position, but we'll get into that when we get into a draft. We'll take a look. But I have him ranked one ahead of Kenny Walker. Interesting. I think someone said something like that. Still like K-Walk over Mixon. Honestly, I probably am still drafting Kenny Walker over Joe Mixon. But I have Kamara over Mixon. I have Chuba Hubbard over Mixon. That's interesting. I might have to. Let's leave it right now. But That's interesting. As their ADPs continue to shift, we'll see. But I in a vacuum, I'm probably going K-Walk over Joe Mixon as well. Antwall, what's happening, brother? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Mr. Mufasa, what's happening? Where's Damian Pierce? Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on that. I touched on that. Like he definitely factors in, but again, more of a carrying the ball, not catching a lot of passes. I do think that they throw the ball more in Houston. Everything kind of points to that with what they did in the draft, adding 2 pass catchers. Looking at their depth chart, they brought in a lot of offensive linemen, drafted an offensive lineman, drafted 2 wide receivers, right? They did a lot, drafted a backup quarterback, maybe a project quarterback, drafted a pass catching running back, drafted another tight end, right? Like out of tight end Iowa, Luke Lachey, right? So they've done everything that they've done in the draft and in the offseason as far as free agency says that they want to throw the ball more. Also, I heard that, and it makes sense, he should be at this point in his career, that CJ Stroud's going to have more command of this offense. So again, all of that just leads to what sounds to me like more of a passing offense. And it makes sense. Again, CJ Stroud in his 3rd season, it makes sense. Nick Caley comes in. We'll see what he does. We'll see how this looks. But just from the optics standpoint, it looks like they're going to be throwing the ball more, which bodes well for Woody Marks. Damian Pierce, again, is still there. He didn't fit the previous system at all. That doesn't mean he won't fit this system, but he didn't before. There's no ties to Damian Pierce realistically. He was super efficient last year. So, again, if there's an injury to Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce definitely gets a boost, and Woody Marks as well. So regardless, like I said, as long as Joe Mixon's healthy, I think this is about taking touches, not carries, but touches, pass catching opportunities away from Joe Mixon and giving them to someone else, which to me is obviously Woody Marks. So that's, again, right now, as it sits right now, Woody Marks is a poor man's Rachaad White for me. And with contingency upside, which is all you're asking for and looking for in the 20th round. So that's number 1. That's the first one on the list. Second guy on the list, in order, Brashard Smith. He's my most drafted player right now, over 40%, 47% as we sit right now. I need to slow up on that a little bit. But regardless, I think he makes this team, regardless of anything. I think he probably factors in on special teams. That's the biggest reason why he makes the team. Do they have him? No, they still have Nico Remigio as their kick returner and punt returner. That could change, obviously. The big reason that I like Brashard Smith, a couple reasons. Number 1, they traded up for him. Yes, it was in the 7th round, but they traded up for him. Number 2, one of the most prominent kind of voices in, I guess, scouting, you could say. He does all of the scouting reports for NFL.com, Lance Zierlein, right? He had him pegged as a 4th, maybe 5th round draft selection. He went in the 7th round. So it was a massive discount, a massive ADP fall, if you will, for the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously they make a trade. They slide up the 7th round. They pick Brashard Smith. I know that Pacheco and Elijah Mitchell are both 4.3 runners, or at least they were at one point in their career when they were at the Combine Pro Days. They both ran a 4.3. I get that. Do I think that either of those guys are a 4.3 runner right now? No, I absolutely do not believe that. So Brashard Smith brings an element of speed that isn't on this team, if you ask me. You could disagree with me if you like. That's fine. But I don't think that they have the speed element that Brashard Smith brings to this team. The other factor is, I mean, this is kind of just from what my eyes told me from watching a lot of football and watching the Chiefs. I seem to recall them splitting out a lot. That, like, Patrick Mahomes likes to spread out the offense, get some motion, see what they're in. Are they in a zone? Are they in man? Get your your running back all the way to the outside. He becomes your X wide receiver and just runs a go route lots of times. And sometimes he throws it there. But either way, the running backs are used to kind of figure out what the defense is in. At least that's what I've seen Patrick Mahomes do a lot over his career. So would you rather be doing that with Kareem Hunt or Brashard Smith? Who would you rather be sending in motion and putting out in the, out wide in a wide receiver position? I don't think I need to remind everybody, but Brashard Smith played wide receiver every year in college except for his final year at SMU. When he did, I think it was 1,600 total yards and 16 touchdowns, if my memory serves correctly, somewhere around there. 4.3 speed. He's different. He's just different than the rest of the running backs on this team. They could carry 4. They could realistically, they could cut a lot of these, any of these running backs, any of them, including Brashard Smith. They could cut any of these guys and it wouldn't be any sort of detriment to the cap, to the team, whatever. I just think like he's the only one that is any different than all of these running backs. He can do things that they can't do. That's how I see it. So do I think he has a role early in the season? Not particularly. No, I think he makes his team on special teams, and that's really all I'm asking for. As the season goes on and we get closer to the fantasy playoffs, I'm hoping that he carves himself out a role. I'm pretty confident that I was the first one to say that he gets that Jet McKinnon role in this offense. Like that's kind of the plan that they have for him. It makes sense. It's right there. It's obvious. They haven't had a running back in this system since Jerick McKinnon, and he comes in and basically fills that role that they've been looking for. Plus, this team was horrible in the running game last year. They were very, very, very bad. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? Like the long run for Kareem Hunt was 6 yards, but he probably averaged 3.1, something like that, right? It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Pacheco looks good. I still like Pacheco. Elijah Mitchell has been an injury concern over his entire career so far. Again, he could be cut before the season starts, and I don't think too many people would bat an eyelash unless you're drafting a lot of Elijah Mitchell for some reason. But that's my spiel on Brashard Smith. It's obviously a very good offensive line. It's in a very good spot anyways. They kind of tripled down on it. They brought in Jalen Moore on a very, very lucrative deal to maybe not even start for this team. Josh Simmons comes in, and he might end up being the starter at left tackle. Does that kick Jalen Moore into left guard? Maybe. Does Kingsley Suamatea play left guard? Maybe. Maybe that opens the door for right tackle, and they could do something with Juwan Taylor, who likely won't be there next year anyways. But we'll kind of see how that works out. Either way, I like this. I like the spot that we're finding Brashard Smith in. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he can do things no one else can do. There's my spiel. And again, it's more pass catching stuff. Like he's gonna have a role, I think, a little bit early. Again, mostly in special teams. But if he scores special teams touchdowns, that's 6 points, and he sometimes might show up in your lineup. I genuinely think that we're going to see more. I said this last year, but the rules were not as lucrative as they are now for returning. Now this year, we are going to see a record amount of returns in the NFL. Promise you that. We are going to see a record number of returns in the NFL this season. What could that lead to? Could, maybe, should, probably, whatever. Yes, a lot of ifs, buts, and ends in that conversation, but return touchdowns. Both kick return and punt return. More kick return is more what we're looking for realistically. So Smith is going to have a role no matter what. Maybe not early. My concern is not early. Like that's my concern. As the season goes on, I really fully expect Brashard Smith to gain more and more confidence, more and more of a role. And then as we get to the fantasy playoffs, I think that's where we're going to want him. But again, that's just my kind of opinion on it. Back up your picks with detailed information. Do homework. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. If not, you're just a guy with an opinion, right? So not true. Guy was a 7th round pick. He could be off the team week 1. Yes, I'm drafting Smith as well. Yeah, he definitely could. I literally said that. Like anyone in this running back room could be released, including Brashard Smith. Anyone, even Pacheco, even Kareem Hunt, even Elijah Mitchell. Do I think Pacheco's cut? No, I do not. Do I think Kareem Hunt is? Maybe. Do I think Elijah Mitchell is? Maybe. Do I think Brashard Smith is? I really don't. But yeah, it's possible. Again, I think he earns a role on special teams, which allows him to make the team, and then his role expands from there. That's my opinion on Brashard Smith. Just Bandit comes in, initiates the AI sequence there. Appreciate you coming in, man. That's about it. So yeah, that's my pitch on Brashard Smith. That's why I'm drafting him, and more than any of these other guys. He also falls in line a lot of times. He's by week 10. So a lot of times it's like, man, I'd really like a running back that doesn't affect my bye weeks. And a lot of times it's Brashard Smith. I mean, I like him as a player too, regardless. So it's an easy click no matter what. But that's another like little tiebreaker. Again, that's why I have 40 plus, almost 50% as we're 92 drafts into hot best ball summer. The final running back, I've been saying since the big board, I've been saying since literally day one this year on this player. It's Audric Estime. I've been saying from day one, back in the big board, end of February, when we first started drafting for this season's best ball, Audric Estime, if you're looking for Kyron Williams this year, his breakout year, it's Audric Estime. That the parallels are crazy. How obvious it is to me. Again, I've been saying this for literally months now. So finally, he's getting some good pub here, right? Broncos head coach Sean Payton, back that requires enough touches, just didn't have enough as a rookie. He's going to get those opportunities. Like I've been saying for months, my comp to Audric Estime was Mark Ingram. What do I see him doing in this offense? Mark Ingram. What do I see RJ Harvey doing? Alvin Kamara. It's just like so obvious. It just lines up. It's been right there in front of our faces all year so far. And I've been the only one that's been saying it. So hopefully you've been drafting a little bit of Audric Estime here and there. If you're not, I'm sure this news, this little red dot will get you drafting a little bit. If it hasn't been, it should be. And if you haven't been, you should be now. He's been getting, first round or first team reps, which is him and Jaleel McLaughlin, right? The two guys from last year. Obviously, RJ Harvey's going to probably get there. I don't like his ADP right now. I don't like his price. And Audric Estime is free still. He's still an 18th round pick. He's still free. Realistically, I'd like to get a little more of him. I'm only at 24% as we sit right now. So I don't really need to dig too deep into that one. I don't think. Again, I've been preaching this for months. So I don't think I need to, the horse is dead. If you want me to keep going, I can keep going. But again, he is the only running back that's any different than the rest of these running backs. RJ Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Bidet, Blake Watson, they're all the same. Smaller guys, Alvin Kamara types, right? And then you have Audric Estime, and then they're the only big body guy, the only between the tackles runner, realistically. Plus, there's got to be a concern about third down pass pro. And to me, that's Audric Estime's job, is to go in there and pass protect when it's a passing situation, when you need to throw the ball, protect Bo Nix. Those other 5'8" guys aren't going to be able to get that done. I'm sorry, they're not. So Audric Estime is going to be on this team. I promise you that, unless there's an injury. And again, he's the only guy that's going to bring that thunder element to this offense. So I don't know why I have had to say this for months and months and months, and nobody seems to like Audric Estime. And then now he's finally getting some good pubs. So maybe people will be on board. I don't know, but I would like for his ADP to stay in the 18th round all summer. We'll see where this goes. But again, the horse should be dead by now, I feel like. So we'll see. Let's go. He says about Audric Estime, I'm assuming. Do you ever draft a team where you're not looking for a late flyer RBs, like stopping around 130s? No, I don't. Right. That's where I see the value. Like I have 3 guys here overpicked 200 ADP wise that I think could be, obviously things have to go a certain way. So I'm not putting them all on every single team. Like I need an injury for some of these guys to pop off. Audric Estime, I really don't. I think he's fine. realistically, like 800 yards, 10 touchdowns is in a very realistic like future for Audric Estime, in my opinion. Could I be wrong? Of course. But that's kind of where I see a borderline, not floor, but like realistically his floor is what we saw last year, maybe 500 yards. But like, what's the difference, in my opinion? What's the difference between Brian Robinson Jr. and Audric Estime? What's the difference? To me, a bunch of nothing. But, you know, what are you going to do? Agree with that Estime take. Not super bullish, but certainly not sheepish. Fair enough. I'm super bullish, but that's fair. As long as you're taking some. Love these takes for when I get back to drafting BBMs. There you go. Get back in the streets. Awesome. It was a healthy scratch. I don't care, man. I don't give a shit. I don't care. If you think I didn't know that, like, I don't care that he was a healthy scratch. I really, 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 really do not. They also had Javonte Williams there last year. So he was doing all of the things that I see Audric Estime doing this year. I don't give a shit that he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs. I really, really, really do not. I can get on board with Estime, but the draft capital spend another 2 could result in some zeros for the season. What other 2? RJ Harvey? Who's the other 2 that we're talking about here? Like RJ Harvey, yeah. I don't know who the other running back would be that we're concerned about, but yeah, I'm not worried about zeros. The kid, Cade. I think that's a Canadian reference right there, but take on Zach Moss. So as a Bengals fan, they like to reward. They like to reward and ride vets. They like to play vets. They do, especially if they've been on that team. And he was on that team last year. He had a bit of a bad run out, bit of bad luck. But the big concern is it was a back injury. I said this on last show on Sunday when it kind of did a deep dive on the Zach Moss take. But anytime it's a neck or a back for a running back, that's a big concern injury wise. They did basically guarantee all of his salary this year, so he will be on this team. That's 100%. That's why I'm not drafting a ton of Taj Brooks, but I am drafting Taj Brooks instead of Zach Moss. I'm not drafting Zach Moss, but I would draft a little bit, like very little bit, 2% maybe of Taj Brooks. It's more likely that Zach Moss is the guy you need more than Taj Brooks. That's for sure. Or he becomes let's say there's a Chase Brown injury, Zach Moss is probably the guy that you're going to want, not Taj Brooks. But there's a massive amount of re-injury risk with Zach Moss. Again, when it's a back situation for a running back, that's not good. Plus his age, he's getting up there a little bit. But the Bengals do like to play vets and players. They like to reward their own. That's why Jermaine Burton's never going to be a guy. And that's another conversation that we had last episode there. It's going to be Yoshi Voss. He's been there. He's done that. He's proven himself. They're going to reward Andre Yoshibas. Similar again with Zach Moss. So hopefully that's enough. If not, you can check out the episode on Sunday. I did a little more of a deeper dive into this conversation. Since we're taking last round RBs, there you go. Steve, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming in. Broncos can sign Nick Chubb for vet presence, and Estime is dead then. I don't see it, but yeah, I suppose they could. If anybody brings in Nick Chubb, in my opinion, it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that's where it makes the most sense. They bring in a couple dusty old vets, Mostert, right? Bring in Chubb. Chubb would just be there to show essentially Ashton Genty how to be a pro, help him out in the gym, in the weight room, stuff like that. I'm not worried about Nick Chubb regardless of where he goes. If you think Nick Chubb is going to kill Audric Estime, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't think it does, personally. Thad's out on Estime. B-Rob 80s is a disease. I don't disagree with that. I do click him once in a while. I'll probably be like 3% or something, B-Rob, but we'll see how that goes. I pick Estime, but he's absolute garbage last year, not efficient at all. Rookie, man. The kid was 20 years old, literally. 20 years old, rookie. It's tough. It's tough to just come in as a young kid, as a rookie. RJ Harvey is 4 years older than him. Well, when he was a rookie, he's 2 years older than him, maybe 3 years older than him right now, right? But Audric Estime was 20 as a rookie. RJ Harvey's 24 as a rookie, right? So the kid was young. He has to adjust. He's still coming into his own as a fucking human being, as a man. Like, he's still coming into his own. I'm willing to say it's okay. Like, Kyron Williams was literally nothing as a rookie, right? And now we love Kyron Williams. So I'm willing to say, let's give him a year. Let's give him some time to figure it out. That's where I'm at. Hard to score points when you're a healthy scratch. They cut Javonte. If you didn't know that, yes, I knew that. If you disagree, man. That's all good. You don't have to agree with my take. With Estime, you're praying for a goal line roll. Yep, that's exactly what I think he gets, and I think he will have for sure. Other two being Marks and Smith. Yep. How are you not worried about these RBs on the roster the same as we couldn't play? Again, I don't know if I need to just keep repeating myself, but he's literally the only running back that's any different than he does. What I look for, is there someone that does something different? Look at this RB room, right? Look at the RB room right here. RJ Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Bidet, Blake Watson. What do they all do? What does Audric Estime do that's different? If you can't identify that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, he does things different than everyone else on this roster. So, like, it's just right there. It's just right in front of all of us. I think. Could I be wrong? Again, yeah, absolutely, I could be wrong. But that's my take. And if you disagree, that's completely fine. Like, you don't have to try to convince me to get on board with your line of thinking here. It's not going to happen. So, Emo Cowboy, what's up, man? Hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate it if you do. If you're new, you like the content, I'm not going to bend over and just agree with whatever people say. I do things different on this channel. I'm going to say my piece. I'm going to speak my mind. You're not going to convince me differently, and I may not convince you differently either, and that's fine too. Do things differently. Don't just be a part of the crowd. Do things differently, right? Like, make your own rankings. Have your own takes. I'm willing to die on my hills. So there you go. Pepper Tony, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate that. Burton will be wide receiver. Okay. We'll see about that. Estime has to be the goal line hammer. It's kind of the way I see it. Disbanded's like in the rant, the soapbox. This is a soapbox episode. I need to get a fake little soapbox for when I'm standing on my soapbox screaming at the clouds. I thought Canadians were nice people. Am I being mean? I didn't think I'm being rude. It's just like, it's right there. Like, could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong. But I'm just saying, like, this is my take. So if you like the take, cool. If you don't, then don't draft them. Like, do your thing. Do your thing. I don't see other RBs in Denver that could possibly be. But exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at here. We got 5'7" Jaleel McLaughlin, 5'8" RJ Harvey, 5'7" Tyler Bidet. I think Blake Watson's 5'10", but he's also about 190 pounds. So 5'11", 230, Audric Estime. Sign me up. Like 30% of the rushes plus goal line seems fair for Estime. 18th round, not a bad bet. Yep. Obviously, there's injury upside. He's getting first team reps right now. Like, realistically, I think this is a two-headed backfield. Like, every backfield. One thing I forgot to mention, actually. One thing I forgot to mention about all of these takes, all of this, and my strategy, my whole best ball strategy this year revolves around this. There were about 500 less offensive plays in the NFL last year. There's about 500 more rushing plays in the NFL last year. The league is shifting. I've been saying this for 2 years now, and finally it's starting to come true. The league is shifting back to a running first game, depending on the team, obviously, depending on your quarterback. There's a few things that depend on it, offensive line, blah, blah, blah. But the facts are the facts. The stats say teams are running the ball more. There's almost every backfield is two-headed backfield, sort of a situation, right? So That's part of this take as well. Not only are teams running the ball more, but there's more opportunity for injury when there's more touches to the running back, right? So that's a big reason why I'm reverting back to. And another thing, going off of Big Brain Billy Jones, his data that he puts out, looking at that data, last year was an outlier. Last year with all the running back value was a bit of an outlier. So I'm reverting back to what I think will work this year, which is like banking on the dual backfield, banking on some injury return off of, guys getting injured, and then, the backup coming in and returning some value, right? I'm banking on those things. And again, could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong, but that's what I'm doing. That's my take. And I put a lot of thought into it, as you can. I hope you can tell. Like, I'm not just out there clicking buttons. So that's another big reason why I like a guy like Audric Estime. I think the Broncos are going to run the ball more, right? Pat Bryant comes in, yes, but what does he do best? Number one, he separates. Number two, he's very good at run blocking. He no block, no rock. That was his whole motto coming into the draft cycle. It's a big reason why he went in the third round, right? So that tells me that, I don't know. It just leads into more of the conversation, right? So there you go. That's another big piece of the puzzle that I'm just putting together. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to do it. And we'll kind of see how it works out for me. Cody Stanton on business. Love to hear him talk it out. Appreciate that, man. Hopefully you didn't take any offense to it. I'm not trying to be an asshole, not trying to be rude. It's just like what I see and what I think. Appreciate you guys. He's free. Even if you don't like him, you should get a bit of exposure if you can. Absolutely. Harvey is definitely big enough to be a good goal line, but he's about the same size as Kyron, if not a little heavier. I think he's a little bit shorter than Kyron and a little smaller, if I'm being honest, but they're very, very similar. Very similar. Yeah. I wouldn't call Kyron a goal line back either. Like, I would say Kyron's just a good all-around back. He's a good pass protector too. So, yeah. Dual backfields. Yeah, yes, sir. Everyone's got a dual backfield for the most part. The problem to lead low-scoring games, right, with the Broncos. The problem led to low-scoring games, right, with the Broncos. The problem lead to low-scoring games. I'm not sure what you mean on that one, Ant, but pumped for the Canadian Open. Yeah, should be good. I gotta get my ass in gear with golf stuff again. But let's jump over and do a draft. Let's do what we came here for. Let's have some fun. Let's rip a Best Ball Mania. We're gonna do a 30-second clock. Hopefully that'll give everybody enough time to jump in as well. So BBM, if you want to get in, 30-second clock. Waiting on two. 30-second clock. If you want to get in, jump in. Yeah, I'm pumped for the Canadian Open. That'll be good. It's always good to get the I'm not sure where it's playing at this year. Probably, I'm positive it's out east. It's always in Toronto or maybe Quebec. Actually, I think it might be in Montreal this year, where I just came back from, but I'm not 100% on that. Who do we got in here? Bitcoin I saw in a draft earlier today on, I think, Huhaim's channel. So maybe he's in the chat. I don't know. We got Champ X3 right there. P. Patel, that name rings a bell. I am Kaz. Rings a bit of a bell. If you're in the chat, or yeah, if you're in the chat and you're in the draft, let me know. Or just hang out and lurk. Do what you got to do. Let's do some promo stuff. We got the Best Ball overlay kicked on right here. Let's throw bye week or week 15 in there. Link in the description. Promo code OTS over on Best Ball overlay. 25% off your monthly subscription. If you don't mind, hit that up. If you don't use an overlay currently, then I would highly recommend using an overlay. And if you consider Best Ball overlay, use promo code OTS when you get there for your boy. And the website just got launched, I think, literally today. I was jumping in there a little bit, playing around, but I haven't done a bit of any kind of a deep dive. My next episode, we might do that, do a little exposure talk about my exposures so far, and then dig into some Best Ball overlay website stuff. That should be fun. I'm pretty stoked to dig into that. We are in the 4 spot. I haven't drafted Barkley yet at all. This might not be the worst time to do that, considering my exposures to Bijan and Gibbs. They're looking pretty healthy. I do have him ranked 5th. I'm a little more. I might have to move Gibbs down with the news. Let's do Barkley. If I don't take him here, I might not get very many shares. So let's just bring in Barkley. Frank Ragnow retired today, which really hurts that offensive line. They're still in a good spot. Tate Ratledge is there. What's his first name? Something Mahogany is there. Graham Glasgow's still there. But that interior of the offensive line just took a massive hit with Frank Ragnow leaving. So I might have, I will move Gibbs below Bijan now. Literally, just you might say just because of that. Yeah, that's a huge, huge loss for that offensive line. So I'll be moving Gibbs below Bijan Robinson for sure. I might even move, like, I'm not drafting a crazy amount of Barkley this year. I'm really not. I'm obviously getting a share here. It's my first one in Best Ball Mania. So we'll see how that works out. I am concerned about Ragnow leaving that offensive line for both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. So I'll have to look at where I have David Montgomery as well, and then kind of potentially adjust that that ranking that I have David Montgomery. I got to complete my ranking still, but it's hard to find the time. I'm so behind on my pretend life. My real life has been pretty busy. My pretend life takes a hit. Your first BBM, there you go. Water's warm. Welcome in. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's fair at 6. I think that's where he's going to settle as 6. And we might see some of these wide receivers. We might see Christian McCaffrey. Who knows? Like, I'm interested to see where Gibbs goes with this news. I think that's a big hit for Ragnow leaving. I really think that's a big hit for that offensive line. So we'll see where he goes. But yeah. If they're going to run the ball and play good defense the majority of the time, then it's going to lead to low-scoring games, right? Then why attack that offense with Estime? Then that should lead to the running backs getting points then, no? Right? If they're running the ball, they're going to still get points, right? Like, I don't think that, like, that's the way to think about it. Let's try to find a parallel here. Let's go with Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's a good kind of parallel of, like, a bad team. Didn't score a crazy amount of points, but he had a ton of value in fantasy world, right? Who else? Even Kamara, but a little different for sure. But who else do we have? Pollard, Tony Pollard, another example there for you, right? Lions also got Miles Frazier. Yeah, the fifth round Miles Frazier. Analysts seem really high on him for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I heard that too, and I don't mind that. 5th round guard from LSU. I know Miles Frazier. Just it's not Frank Ragnow though. You know what I mean? Like, and neither is, like, Tate Ratledge isn't Frank Ragnow either. So, yeah, there's obviously some concern there from me. I guess I just take Jonathan Taylor here. I'm only 8.3%. Wow, that's wild. Then yeah, definitely take Jonathan Taylor. That's gonna suit me just fine at running back for a little bit. Yeah, definitely can't be replaced. I heard good things about Miles Frazier as well. But again, fifth round pick. I like Tate Ratledge as well. Mahogany played well last year. You know, Glasgow can still get the job done. It's just a matter of, like, who plays where. Like, now, who plays center, who plays right guard, who plays left guard, right? I'm not sure. I think, as far as I've heard, Ratledge has been getting first team reps at center, but again, he's not Frank Ragnow, so it's a risky proposition when you have a rookie center in there. Sure, they could really excel, but there's very few Creed Humphreys out there. It usually takes him at least like a year or two potentially to really kind of get there if it's a rookie center. But that's kind of just my opinion on it. Mike Evans gets pulled up. That works for me for what I would like to draft here. Darren 28 goes Harrison. I'll bring in McLaurin. Pairs up with week 16 with my Saquon Barkley. I'd like to get a few more shares anyways. Only 2 shares so far. And I think this is my 25th Best Ball Mania. So only 2 shares so far. Let's get some Terry McLaurin, get a little correlation going. So are you taking CMC and Genty over Gibbs now? I mean, I don't know. Like, I might just kind of play a wait and see on this because I have a few shares of Gibbs already. I'm like 16%. Again, that's not a lot because I only have 24. It's four drafts, right? 16.7%. I have four drafts of Gibbs. I can kind of wait and see a little bit, just see what his ADP does. Maybe CMC, probably not quite Genty for me personally. But CMC might get there in the not so distant future where he overtakes Gibbs as far as ADP is concerned. He's creeping up already, and Gibbs is going to start to fall. So if these wide receivers start getting ahead of Gibbs ADP wise, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Honestly, is my honest answer. I'm really not sure what to do with Gibbs right this second. It's a big concern for me personally. Big concern. Obviously, there's already the baked in offensive coordinator change. So that's another factor when we're talking about just Jahmyr Gibbs. But, that offensive line takes a big hit. Like if you took Creed Humphrey off of the Chiefs, that would be extremely damaging. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to kind of play a wait and see on this a little bit. Yeah, if Gibbs is, I was extremely high on Gibbs, and this is a massive kick in the nuts for any of the Gibbs truthers, including myself. That there's the last thing I expected to see this morning was Frank Ragnow retires at 29 years old. So, I'm not sure. Is my honest opinion, Pepper Tony. I'm not sure. Like I again with all what I'm doing at running back, I'm probably going to slide these wide receivers, even maybe Amon-Ra, probably. Honestly, probably Amon-Ra ahead of Gibbs. Hard to say. It's an interesting one. I'm gonna play a little bit of wait and see role on this and see what happens to his ADP. Get some drafts in and see where he's falling to, if he's falling and where he's falling to. Right now, 6 is just where he goes. But if he starts sliding past these wide receivers, then I probably will get ahead of the ADP slide and start taking CMC over him. That's kind of the way I'm playing it, is if he starts to slide behind these wide receivers, then Christian McCaffrey will eventually overtake him, I think. So I might try to get ahead of that and start taking CMC at like 6 and 7, right? If I'm taking a running back there. But it's a really good range to take those wide receivers. So it's really just a roster construction conversation is really what it like boils down to at the end of the day. So yeah, long-winded way to say a bunch of nothing, I know, but yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. I would assume they get their act together in the offensive line unit by the money weeks. Gibbs is special. That's what we would hope for, and that's why we're drafting them, right? Like, I would think so too. They could find some continuity, but the big concern was like if an injury happens, on that offensive line, that's gonna really hurt. That's gonna really, really, really hurt. So yeah, like honestly, anywhere on that offensive line, if an injury happens, it's gonna really hurt that team. I'm going to take the ADP slide on Worthy. I want to get a few more shares anyways. I only have them once so far. Gives me a quarterback option. Let's do it. Let's get some Worthy. All those guys were lead backs with a bad offense. I'm soft fading Denver, Pats, and similar teams. Fair enough. Fair enough. Like lead backs with with a bad defense, regardless, it should lead to throwing the ball more because they should be trying to catch up constantly, which the Panthers kind of were. It's just, Canales is stubborn, wants to run the ball no matter what sort of thing. So Kamara's different. Like obviously he catches the ball and he's like probably a Hall of Famer by the time it's all said and done. We'll see. We'll see where he ends up, but a couple more will make this pick here and then jump back. Obviously going to be a wide receiver. That's just for sure. And then I had a feeling it would come down to this. I think I just got to take the ADP drop. Really, the pick for correlation should be George Pickens, but let's take the ADP drop and go Jameson Williams. The playoff schedule is just so juicy, and he's that spike week guy that you could really like. This would be if this team makes it to the finals of Best Ball Mania, I would be pretty excited about it. You know, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, and then massive spike week potential at wide receiver here. That would be pretty exciting. So let's play off of that 1 week high potential and kind of keep going down that path. Where are we? Gibbs has changed the number to 0, so might move him up the ranks. No doubt. That's a clean number if you ask me. I like it. I like that number. I'll take Gibbs every time. If the line takes a hit, he's still pass catching back. Yeah. I mean, he will fall. It's just, well, will he? I don't know. What's his ADP doing? Last I recalled, he was at 6 exactly. 5.9. Okay, so he's moved up 1 spot. Or 0.1, I should say. I'm going to play the wait and see role on this one for at least like a few days and just see what his ADP does. Honestly, like the like casual drafters probably won't move the needle for them. Like this Frank Ragnow news probably won't even hit the headlines for a lot of casual drafters. So will that affect his ADP at all? Probably not. Will it affect my ranking? Absolutely. I'm already moving him down behind Bijan for sure. So, and probably behind Barkley now. I'll probably move Barkley to where I just took him at 4. And then Bijan up to 3. Jefferson moves ahead of Gibbs for me. So Gibbs moves down to 6 where he kind of is, where his ADP is. And then we'll see. So it definitely affects my rankings personally. But again, will it affect his ADP or some casual drafters rankings if they even do their rankings? Probably not. So it might not affect him at all. We'll see. If he does fall, I think it's only 1 spot. CMC then moves to the 6th spot. Gibbs is still Gibbs. I don't think the normies will see it. Yeah, there you go. I should have read your comment before spieling that whole thing out. But yeah, exactly. The casuals know. maybe not. Like, it's easy to miss things. I miss things. So once in a while, you know, it's pretty annoying and wild and rare when I do, but I miss things every once in a while. So, and some guys would be like, "Oh, who's Frank? Oh, only their center." That's what a lot of casuals would say. Like, "Oh, it's just a center, no big deal." It's like, that is a fucking massive deal. Like, that is a massive thing. Massive thing. Like, outside of the left tackle, center is the most important position on the offensive line. So, yeah, if you have a good center and a good left tackle, look at what the Chiefs have been chasing for the last few years. They've got a fantastic center, but they haven't had a left tackle, worth anything in quite some time. Patrick Mahomes went way early to a badgeless zombie over there, so that's cool. Let's do. I don't really want to do this, but let's do Sam Laporta. I'm going to gamble that he makes it around. I'm going to take Trevion. I don't really want to do that either. But again, I'll take a little ADP value. And then I'm trying to push Sam Laporta around the corner here. The one spot already has tight end, right? So and red badges, like that's something I look at too. Like they might be. There you go. He's already gone. It didn't take long. All right, maybe Darren's watching the stream. I don't know, but I thought there was a possibility I could push him around the corner. Okay, that's fine. We'll try to zig here. We'll try to zig when people are zagging on us. Also, Campbell has the next man up mentality. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're any good. Like, I agree, but it doesn't mean that they're even a comparable like replacement. You know what I mean? So, and again, like Miles Fraser, Tate Ratledge, 2 rookies. You don't really know what you're getting out of those guys. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see on that. I don't really like the position I'm finding myself in, but that's okay. We could make something work here, potentially. Let's try that. Okay. Let's bring in little Ricky Pearsall action. Pairs up with my Indianapolis in week 16. So hopefully we can get a little week 16 correlation is obviously kind of what we're not necessarily focusing on, but hopefully that if it can get this team to the finals. Like I said, if this team gets to the finals, like I'm happy with the boomer bust potential. This is kind of going against my strategy with the 3 running backs here, but I'm most certainly stopping at 5, maybe even 4, depending on who my 4th is. But I don't really love what's going on in this draft, if I'm being perfectly honest. I wasn't expecting, obviously, Patrick Mahomes to go way ahead of ADP. You know, if I took him here, then okay, cool. I was hoping Roma Dunze would be there. I would have taken him instead of Trevion. But it is what it is. A few badges in here that are, you know, just kind of doing badgeless things. Admin 6 sounds like a computer program. That's fair. KC had a left tackle until the Bengals stole him. Yeah, exactly. They've been searching for one ever since. So they just didn't want to pay him. Is really what that was. We didn't steal shit. They just didn't want to pay him. So Bengals did, and there you go. The rest is history. So yeah, just pay up, man. And then they gave friggin' Jalen Moore, what was it, like 20 something? What did they give him a year? They gave him a big contract, and he might not even start for them. So we'll see. But they've been trying to plug that hole ever since, realistically. The right now retirement is my fault. I've been overweight the field, Gibbs, and clearly I'm not allowed to have nice things. My bad, guys. I mean, I was overweight for sure as well. Like my big board exposure, I think, is quite high. And again, I had him ranked at 3rd. I had him ranked 3rd. So I was right there with you. To be honest, I'm happy it happened so early that now I can adjust and move him down my rankings and not take him quite as much, because he definitely doesn't have as much value. I think everybody would admit that certainly affects him. It is still Gibbs, and I love Gibbs, man. Like his efficiency is through the roof. Like he's so fast and slick. He's got so much juice. Like he can just flat out ball. So that's annoying. I was trying to push TJ Hawkinson there. I thought he would make it with Jordan Addison drafter having a quarterback already, and then the Justin Jefferson drafter on the left side of me. I was hoping Hawkinson would make it to me, and then I could pair him up with Jameson Williams, but I'm not allowed to have nice things either. So there you go. We're in the 8th round. What do we want to do? Like I said, I don't really love the position I find myself in right now. Where is there he is? This should be over there. Okay. So we'll see what I like this draft. Just the structure of it. Missed out on Jalen Hurts. That's kind of frustrating for him. I was certainly not taking Jalen Hurts. And then the same guy who stole Laporta from me. Okay, so Darren 28. What are you building, sir? Justin Fields goes. Okay, let's let's try it. Let's see if we can push. Oh, we should definitely be able to push Caleb Williams. Okay, I should have had ADPs pulled up. Let's bring in Luther Burden to pair up with Ricky Pearsall, and then if I could get Caleb Williams, that would be pretty fun. Then I got a week 17 correlation going with just the high upside and high floor stuff going on. So I would very much like this to find this team in the finals if I get Caleb Williams. We'll see. Wow, naked Kyler. This guy's not happy. Everybody's just sniping each other in this draft a little bit. The Garrett Wilson drafter here would have rathered Fields. Yeah, everybody's just sniping each other. So this guy sniped Fields on this guy. He snipes Kyler on this guy. This guy snipes Field or Hurts on this guy. Who's going to snipe Caleb Williams on me for no good reason? This guy? Nope. Clearly wants to bring in Waddle maybe, or Tua maybe. Does this guy want to add another quarterback for no good reason? We'll see. We will see. Perfect. We'll take Caleb Williams right here. Then that gives us a little bit of week 17 correlation. And I've got a bunch of week 16 correlations. So if I can make this push this team into the finals, that would feel really nice. This would be a really fun finals team as it looks right now. Obviously, a lot can change between now and then. I've had that situation come up. I think it might be better to take Hurts first and push Smitty. It was a similar dynamic last year with Mark Andrews and Lamar. Yeah, because you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like ADP wise, right? That's where it gets tough. Like it depends on what your draft room looks like. So honestly, I think this guy did the right thing with all these red badges on the side. Like I don't think it makes sense this guy could have taken Hurts. Honestly, it made more sense for the 2-hole to take Hurts than it did the 3-hole here, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just tough. Like again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like you win some, you dim some. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess you're fine if you take a naked Hurts, but again, it depends on your build too. Like where is he? Right here. So he's got AJ Brown. I mean, yeah, in this situation, you're definitely right. In this situation, he should have taken Hurts while already having AJ Brown. I agree with that for sure. But if he didn't have AJ Brown, then yeah, take Smith and then hope that Hurts falls to you. So in this situation, I 100% agree, Pepper Tony. Yeah, just take Hurts there when you have AJ Brown, and then if Smith falls, he falls. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, I don't hate that take if that's what you're getting at as well, which I think you were. Love them to be a nice touch. Good luck. Yeah, hopefully. You never know. That's kind of the loose plan. That's kind of the loose idea of what I wouldn't mind happening here. But it seems like it's Snipe City in this draft room. This is going to be a tough. I am Castor Troy. That's kind of sweet. Castor Troy from Face Off. If you know your movie quotes or your movie trivia, Castor Troy. What's his brother's name? Does anyone know Castor Troy's brother's name in Face Off? It's a really cool name as well. But it's gonna be tough to get out of this. Only 3 wide receivers through 9 rounds. That's going to be tough. 2 quarterbacks. Obviously, you better be done at quarterback. I would assume he is. 4 running backs. Yeah, that's going to be tough to build out of that. Especially 2 wide receivers go right there. Who's left on the board here? Trey Harris is basically it. Kyle Williams, you want to pull him up, but that's, yeah, you're putting yourself in a tough spot. That's a big reason why I'm not doing like this last year. I'd have a lot of builds like this last year, 2-4-3-0, something like that. I'd have a lot of that type of stuff last year, but this year it's just not the strategy, in my opinion. It's really tough to find your way out of that, is how I feel about it. No one says name is Pollux Troy is the answer to that little trivia question there. I think Devontae Smith is ridiculous value in the late 4th, so I always click him first and try to push Hurts, especially when I know I've gotten. Yeah, like I agree again, but if like I think we were kind of getting at, or what I was getting at, what I think Pepper Tony was getting at too. Like if you already have AJ Brown, then just take Hurts. If that's the direction you want to go, then just take Hurts there and then see if Smith falls around. I don't disagree with that. There goes Loveland on me. Yeah, that's fun. No good reason to do that. The brainless zombie drafter, just building nothing. Awesome. Frustrating. That's frustrating when that happens. Man, that's okay. I still have that week 17 correlation, so that's fine. I feel like I kind of have to take Goff. Especially when Drake May goes as well. Let's go. I don't really like the spot I'm in. I really don't like the spot I'm in right now. Let's go Najee. Wow, 45% Kyle Williams. That's building the brand, hey? There you go. Let's take Najee here. Pairs up with Kansas City a little bit. I think he's got some value still. I am concerned about Hampton, but I think they're going to run the shit out of the ball. So let's bring in Najee, and then I'm probably done at wide receiver. No bye weeks overlap. If I take a 5th, cool, but it's really not something to worry about. Yeah, building my brand off Kyle Williams over here. 45% through 24. That's like 11 out of my 24 drafts or something. I have Kyle Williams. Maybe I should slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. I feel like Hurts is way underpriced. 10 to 15 rushing touchdowns guaranteed. Yeah, push touch lives, so he's definitely going to get his rushing touchdowns, that's for sure. All right, let's go Goff. I wasn't even really planning on taking him. I might have pushed quarterback, but if he's there for us, 10 picks past ADP, pairs up with Jameson. Let's just do it. Let's just do that. I could be done, but with only I could stop at 4 running backs here, which I might do. That'll give me an extra roster spot, which I might use on quarterback. We'll see how that goes. And Pollux doesn't like to be called bro. That's right. That's right. Bro. Yeah, I missed the part about having AJ Brown already in the fold in that case. Yeah, Hurts first. Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah. That's what I think you do if you have AJ Brown and you want to go down that road with the whole Philly thing, then just take Hurts there because now he's got double stacked, Philly with. Does he even have a Buffalo bring back yet? No, like, yeah, that puts you kind of in a tough spot. Puts you in a tough spot. Like, yeah, interesting. Puts you in a tough spot. I'm just here to bust balls. Fair enough. J.K. Dobbins going back to the Charger would hurt Najee. I don't think so. He probably does too. Like J.K. Dobbins probably does go back to the Chargers. Why? They put a tender on him, a unrestricted free agent tender, I believe is what it's called. So if no one signs him, then he will be on the Chargers. If no one comes in and gives J.K. Dobbins a contract, he will be on the Chargers. They will pay him. I think it's like $3 million, I believe, 3.26 if my memory serves me correctly. And he will be a member of the Los Angeles Chargers. I really don't think that doesn't really concern me personally. Like it was a 1-year deal. Yes. I don't think they're going to go with a 3-headed backfield in there and like give me Najee over J.K. Dobbins. And then obviously we've got Hampton in there as well. So I know that is likely the case. I know that J.K. Dobbins is likely going to be on the Chargers. So Scatabo crashing the Tracy party. The irony. Is that irony? Why is that irony? I don't know. But I definitely like Scatabo more than Tracy. I'll tell you that much. Williams Fields, week 17. Yeah, I've got a lot of that. That's probably why I have 40%, 45% Williams and probably, I don't know. Let's check. High 20s at least Fields. 25% Fields. Yeah, that probably plays into that for me. Right now, retirement is definitely a concern. Yeah. Go watch the start of the episode if you missed it. We went over that in pretty deep detail. Definitely a concern. I got 10 picks of ADP value on Jared Goff, and I have Jameson Williams. So I'm going to go down that road. Like, I literally said I didn't want to do that, but I pushed him, and he was there. So I'll take him. Najee is a buy. Dobbins has until July 22nd to sign. Plenty of time for someone to tear their ACL or just someone to remember that he's good. Yeah, ACL situation might be it. Like, obviously, after a mandatory minicamp, right? Something could happen there. He could go in somewhere. So, yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. And then they get some draft compensation. The Chargers would, if somebody signs JK. I believe they would get compensatory pick. I would imagine they would get a compensatory pick. All it takes is a 1-year, $4 million deal. There you go. Which is very on the table if someone tears their ACL. So, yeah, this is an interesting squad. I definitely am going to need 3 tight ends. So I have to kind of keep that in mind, which would push me. I would have taken Trevor Lawrence there. I just really don't like the way this draft is going, particularly. Let's bring in Josh Palmer to pair up with Barkley. Just makes the most sense. I've got a week 17 matchup. Mini, bring back Palmer with Barkley. I mean, I would like to get a Minnesota Viking, but I don't like any of the rest of the Vikings, and I'm not picking one. So that's that. I don't like this team very much, but it would be fun if it made the finals. I'll say that. It would be a fun team if it made the finals. It'd be a very fun team. I mean, any team would be fun if it made the finals of Best Ball Mania. But like this one, I think would have a legitimate chance at like having a very high ceiling weekly score. This looks like a weekly winners team, you know? So yeah, I kind of think I have to get another quarterback in here. And as you can see by my percentages, I'm just not drafting these guys down here at quarterback. Let's bring in Cedric Tillman. Pairs up with my Chicago week 15 at least. And he's kind of the only oddball guy around here that could really works with my bye weeks too. Pairs up with Josh Palmer in week 16. Pairs up with my Chicago in week 15. He's the only wide receiver down here that could really like flip his ADP like value wise. So let's do that. Let's do that. Don't really like this squad, but we can probably make it work. McCarthy, I don't think McCarthy makes sense with this team. I don't think I would. I do take McCarthy once in a blue moon if it makes sense. It just doesn't make sense for this team. Like if I had taken Jameson Williams and then pushed Sam Laporta around, and then someone took Goff, then yeah, it's a perfect time to take a JJ McCarthy. But I just don't think it makes sense with this team. Round 9, I love this team. I would love to have this team. I hate this team. Very true. I just don't like the way it went with my quarterbacks is really what happened there. Like I liked it here. I would like it a lot more if I got Colston Loveland here instead of Najee. That would have felt a lot better. Literally just that one thing would have made this team, me feel a lot better about this team. I just don't know how I'm going to round this sucker out. If I do, I need 3 of these. So I have 2 free picks essentially is where we're sitting at here. So is it going to be 2 wide receivers? I probably wouldn't mind doing a wide receiver and another quarterback for a 3-4-8-3 build. It's just, yeah, it's weird how it changes like that. Hey, no Goddard. No, I'm not a big Goddard believer personally at all. Like he falls all the time. He's still there. Pick ADP 142 and he's 150. We're pick 158. Still there. Like I'm not a massive believer. I mean, if I were the Josh Allen drafter, I probably would have taken him right there. I don't know why you don't. You take Bretton Strange over him. Like that's what you're going to get out of some of the badgeless zombie drafters, right? So like that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, yeah, in a vacuum, I mean, it's still probably Goddard over Bretton Strange in a vacuum as far as just like who's a better pick and a better player right this second, who's a higher ceiling, points wise, it's definitely Goddard. And that's where it would make the most sense. But, I mean, maybe if he falls to me at 165, yeah, I'll close my eyes and take him. Yeah. If he's there at 165, I'll just close my eyes and take him. Because it's just like by far the best pick on the board, right? And he might just do that. Wow, crazy. But I do want another quarterback. I really do. I really want another quarterback on this team. There goes Goddard. Okay, let's take Pat Freiermuth. Let's do that. And then see what comes around to us. So Goddard went, can't get him. I would look for the Houston to sign JK. They're the only team he's talked to so far, and he's a Texas kid. That would actually makes a lot of sense, Mufasa. That makes a lot of sense. Especially if they're, Joe Mixon's walking around in a walking boot right now. Like it's Damian Pierce or J.K. Dobbins. Probably J.K. Dobbins, right? At least for me, it'd be J.K. Dobbins. So that makes a lot of sense. I would be on board with that. I would be okay with that for sure. Probably Mike Gesicki. Yep. Let's go Mike Gesicki here. Get in another tight end. There's no other real tight ends that I need here. Let's go Mike Gesicki. My BBM team wasn't fun. AOC and Darnold as my QBs. Yikes. Is that your like your finals BBM team or something? Or a team you built this year? I hope it's not a team you built this year. But if that was your finals team, then yeah, that's not super fun. But at least you made the finals. So shout out, man. Texans shut JK down in that playoff game. They wouldn't know if he's good or not. I mean, again, it comes down to J.K. Dobbins or Dameon Pierce. This is really what it comes down to. Man, I'm seeing 5 RBs here. I think I gotta stop at 4. I'm gonna stop at 4. Is what I'm just doing. I've made my decision. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna stop at 4 RBs on this team. Maybe it's right to take 5, but I need 3 tight ends. I mean, I need 3 tight ends regardless. Do I need 3 quarterbacks? Not necessarily, but I just think it's the correct build, if I'm being honest. Like, if I'm taking running back, and then 3 running backs through 6 rounds, I have to buy in that they're the guys. Like, I really do. And Najee's just steady, I think. So, yeah. JK is one of the biggest what ifs in recent memory. Yeah, I agree with that, man. He would have been a monster at the Mar. I agree with that. Like the injuries, it is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Another guy that doesn't get talked about enough is Odell Beckham Jr. as one of the biggest what ifs, man. He could have been like Hall of Famer, just an absolute stud if he didn't just destroy his leg. Broken leg, ACL, right? It's just like that. He was unreal at one point in time, but I don't think they are that good at all. My wide receivers. I think they're fine, but I don't like it's tough to find a week in, week out high floor there, right? So who all of these guys can show up in my lineup basically any week. So I don't have enough of a floor for me to say I'm okay with just these 7 wide receivers personally. That's how I look at it. If I had, a first or second round wide receiver, like Terry McLaurin's my first wide receiver, not a high enough floor for me. So I can't just bank on that. I am going to need another wide receiver. I think I'm going to need another tight end as well. I think I'm fine with these running backs. When we're getting like the volume we should be getting out of these 2, realistically, like Barkley and Taylor should show up. Like sometimes the way to look at these lineups is how would you draft a battle royale team, right? Like Barkley and Taylor would be first or second round picks most weeks in battle royale, right? So why can't they be that in best ball? You know what I mean? In season long best ball, as long as they stay healthy. Yeah. Like that's the conversation. So if I'm picking them that early, I'm kind of going to buy into it. The big reason I'm doing it is because Trevion Henderson is here. So yeah, that's the biggest reason why I'm taking only 4. And Najee just plays, man. He doesn't miss games. He hasn't in his career. He's a big boy. So that's where I'm at with it. So we're going like this. I've got so much Yoshi Voss. Okay, I'm glad he goes. I haven't taken Coker in Best Ball Mania at all. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. So I guess I just take Coker. It's Coker or Slayton, realistically. Let's take Wicks, actually. least he pairs up with my Chicago. Let's do that. Let's do that. Pairs up with my Chicago stack. So we're down to a tight end and a quarterback. Yeah, that was my final team. Places 439th. At least you weren't last, man. At least you weren't last. And at least you got there. I didn't get there. So there you go, man. At least you got there. Min cash was all your money back on a max enter. So that's all you needed. Congrats on the finals. Congrats on making it. It's the biggest part of the battle right there. And then my final 2 clicks. We're going to go with Gino. Let's see what these guys do. But it's probably going to be Aaron Rodgers here, which I kind of hate. But, oh, wow, Komet goes. I was thinking about like pushing and potentially taking Komet. Wow. Didn't expect him to get pulled up the board there. Then I'll take Terrence Ferguson here. That's going to be my 3rd tight end. Pairs up with my Detroit in week 15. Rookie tight end. It's a guy I like. If you watch this show, you know I like Terrence Ferguson. And pairs up with my bye weeks. Rookie with two vets is a really nice way to build your tight end room, in my opinion. I like this room a lot. So we're done there. Then we're taking a quarterback. And it'll be Aaron Rodgers if he's there. If not, we'll see. Austin Reed has an ADP. Wow. Not sure why that would be the case. Tyson Bagent would be the backup in Chicago, but that's okay. Largo Stand or Largo Tan might be watching the show. Takes Audric Estime there. Good click. Yeah, that makes sense for his team, actually. Sort of. This guy, not really sure what he's building. Just clicking players. Okay. Pulls up Joe Burrow. That's rare. Again, like sometimes the badges don't mean anything, but sometimes, they do. And sometimes you can really see some mistakes, which we saw a lot from this badgeless, and this badgeless. Just through kind of little noticing of things, we saw some mistakes happening there. Did this guy do anything fun? Definitely some mistakes there as well. So, yeah, that's how she goes. T-Ferg is going to be a name this year. Yeah, I think I was one of the first on Terrence Ferguson this year. I'm pretty confident in that on the big board. He was my tight end 4 in this draft class. I'm pretty confident that was higher than anyone else, at least early. I set my rankings before anyone even knew Terrence Ferguson was. My take on Terrence Ferguson was there's not a lot of difference. Not a lot of difference that I saw on film between Terrence Ferguson and Colston Loveland. I didn't see a crazy amount of difference between those 2 players personally. And then we'll see where that ends up, that take. But good landing spot, great landing spot for T-Ferg. So he was the first draft pick this year of the Rams. Not a first round pick, but their first draft pick. So that's good. But yeah, I like Terrence Ferguson quite a bit this season. So yeah, not necessarily my favorite team. Not necessarily a team I hate more than any of my other Best Ball Mania teams. But As far as drafts go, it was my most recent. I'll say that. So Dylan Sampson at 208. That's got to be a nice fall, right? Wow, never mind. He is falling. Okay. As he should be, but how much Sampson do I have? 8.3. Twice I've drafted him. Tyler Higbee goes. So let's just do Aaron Rodgers. In contact with the Steelers. Like, this is a pretty quality year right here. Last year. Obviously, just pairs up with my Pat Freiermuth with Detroit. I got the Cleveland bring back week 17. So let's just buy into it. 3-4-8-3. Rare build for me. I don't build a lot of teams like this. We finished it up with Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, Najee Harris. A little shallow, but it's definitely, I think, fine. I think it can work. If anything, I mean, Aaron Rodgers might not be necessary, but I kind of like getting some correlation and with the flexibility of 4 running backs, I think it's the right click. It's the right roster construction. Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Jameson Williams, Ricky Pearsall, Luther Burden, Joshua Palmer, Cedric Tillman, and Dontavian Wicks. Some good correlation there. Every week, 15, 16, 17, I have some Chicago correlation, which is good. That's kind of my main stack, obviously. And then some mini stacks, mini bringbacks, things like that. So that looks good. Pat Freiermuth, Mike Gesicki, and Terrence Ferguson in the tight end room. Again, two vets and a rookie. I really like that type of texture in the tight end room. Freiermuth with Rodgers, Gesicki's in there. Terrence Ferguson's a bringback. Cool. Not a bad squad. Let's take a look at who else was in this draft. We got Champ X3 right here. Let's take a look at that squad. And then we'll get out of here for the night. So we got a 3-5-7-3 classic build. Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with stopping at 2. I'm fine with taking 3. So that's all fine and good. Let's see what we got for correlation. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Jordan Mason, Tyler Algier, and Will Shipley. I'm not a big Will Shipley guy. I'm just not sold on Will Shipley being the number 2 there. I'm really not. I think it could very well be AJ Dillon, but either way, it's a complete contingency upside right there with a lot of question marks. I really don't know why he's rising. But okay. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right, so it's a fine click on that one. I don't mind this room though. Regardless, I like this room. Makes a lot of sense, especially those first 4. I like all those guys. Shipley, I'm just not sold on, especially at this ADP. I don't know. I really don't know why he would be rising. I really don't. When a guy like DJ Giddens is going where he is and he has the same contingent upside, in my opinion, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Travis Hunter, George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy, Darnell Mooney, Emeka Egbuka, and Andre Yoshivas. I like that. What do we have for correlation? We got Pickens with Dak, Travis Hunter with Lawrence, and Penix with Mooney. David Njoku, Jatavian Sanders, and Tyler Higbee. That can work. I'm okay with that. Bring back with Higbee. Don't hate it. Not a lot of week 16 or 17 correlation, but that doesn't mean it can't work. Basically need this Rams-Atlanta game, which is a game I like to go off. That's kind of the goal there. But I like this wide receiver room a lot, I'll tell you that. I like this wide receiver room a lot. That's really good. Quality team. Well done. Great show. Thanks, Dirty P. Appreciate you guys. On your way out, if you don't mind, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you like the content. Sometimes I get on my soapbox and just rage a little bit. So appreciate you guys sticking it out with me. Hopefully you liked the show. Tomorrow night we're on. I know they're having a big show tonight on the Ballsy stream over on the Fantasy Football Garage with Bindles, and I forget who their guest is, but I think it's a pretty good guest. I can't remember who it is. Either way, it'll be me tomorrow. So I'll be on the Fantasy Football Garage show tomorrow night. So go pop in over there, and then we'll be back live here on Wednesday night. And then we'll see where the week takes us kind of there. So Tuesday night tomorrow on the Fantasy Football Garage, Wednesday night right here on this channel as always, probably 7 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. in the East as always. Descriptions in the down below for Best Ball overlay, promo code OTS down there. Again, hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Like I always say, on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right and we won $2 million in Ball Mania. Have yourselves a great night.